Hey guys, it's Nella from Don't Say Hurry, and I am here to do part 2 of my labor and delivery story. If you guys haven't checked out the first part of my labor and delivery story, where I tell you guys, go, my water broke at Costco, you guys can go check that out. I'll leave a link in the description, but I left off leaving triage and getting admitted into the hospital at 26 weeks. My husband actually had to leave. It was on a Sunday night that all of this took place, so that was not fun. And the girls left with him, and I wasn't able to say goodbye. And the first couple days we Skyped, I almost broke down during the call, but definitely after the call I was like, ah, super emotional. And I got the big room, which is the extended stay room, which kind of made me so sad because I was expecting the doctor to say, okay, you can go home, just stay on bed rest, but that was not the case. So I saw my doctor later that evening, and he confirmed it was my water. They were gonna give me steroid shots for the baby's lungs, just in case I went into labor. I also had antibiotics and prenatal vitamins given every day like normal. They also checked my sugar. I hadn't had my glucose test done at my doctor's, but it came out kind of high because they had already given me the steroid shot, and my doctor said that they'll count that as normal because that shot has a lot of sugar in it, apparently. But they went ahead and gave me, or put me on a low sugar diet. So that first night was kind of hard emotionally, but I wasn't in any pain. Right. So then on Monday, the doctor came in at 6 a.m., checked me, put in some more blood work, and he said he would do an ultrasound like in a day or two just to check on my fluid levels and all of that. Same medication, not getting up for bed, nothing really changed. He also ordered a 2-hour fasting, or not fasting. Yeah, is that what it's called? Yeah, I think that's what it's called. In the morning to check my sugars, and that was still a little bit elevated, but again, I had one more dose of the steroids shot, so that was okay. I think my mom came to see me that day, and she brought me, I texted her, bring me toothbrush, toothpaste, and I also asked for some snacks, some trail mix and stuff. She brought me that, and a coloring book. I watched the Food Network and HGTV all day, which was awesome because we don't have cable, we only have Netflix. And we fast forward to Wednesday, and by the way, thank you to all the nurses, they were awesome. I felt so guilty pushing that button because, again, I was on bed rest, so I had to go potty in a bedpan, and they had to slip it under me every time, which was so annoying, but thank you to them. Thanks to the nurses. So he came in, my doctor, at 6 a.m. again, and he woke me up. He's like, honey, honey. Same thing. Any pain? Nope. Any bleeding or anything like that? Any questions? And everything was pretty much normal. My sugars were back to normal, thank goodness. So I was put on a regular diet. I was allowed a bedside commode. Yay! I mean, how many times in your life have you been excited to get up to go potty in a bedside commode? I have one so far. But yeah, and then he said, maybe tomorrow, if you're doing better, we'll go ahead and allow you to get up and take a shower. Before that, the other days, they have these warming wipes in a pack of 15, and I had already used 10 of them. I use those to clean after going potty and to sponge bathe myself. My mom had come before I had taken a shower, and we visited a little while. She asked if I was going to be going home. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I'm going to stay here until the baby is born. One of the labor and delivery, or maybe it was a hospital supervisor, that's the word, she came in and she introduced herself, and she's like, if you need anything, like some extra pillows or extra blankets, a TV monitor with a DVD player to watch some movies and stuff, she's like, just let us know, since you're going to be here a while, we can, do some extra stuff for you. And again, the room was huge. It was like 2 recliners, a sofa, a chair, and like a whole cabinet. Like all of this right here full of cabinets for storage and stuff, which I was like, I hope I don't have to use that stuff, but it was pretty awesome. Then another nurse came in. I guess mine was on break or something. She emptied out my bedside commode again, and she's like, have you taken a shower yet? I'm like, no, doctor said I could take one tomorrow. And she was like, how long have you been here? Like, since Sunday. It's like, oh no, dear, you need to take a shower. And I'm like, yes, a long hot shower, like 30 minutes. And the nurse came, are you okay, dear? I'm like, yes, I'm okay. Yeah, it was like 10 o'clock at night, and since my sugars had been good all day, bedtime snack, which was a sandwich and milk, which was awesome. Thursday night, I actually started getting some abdominal pain, cramps, if you will, and I let the nurse know, and she's like, oh, well, there's nothing. And they were monitoring me or the baby the whole time with the contraction thingies and the heart rate monitor on my belly. Pain. And she's like, where is it at? Try to describe it. Like, that scale 1 to 10 with the smiley faces, and I'm like, 4. And I guess she thought that was really low, and I guess there was no contractions showing up on the monitors. Around 5 o'clock in the morning, I was woken up again with that same pain, and it was more in my back now, in my lower abdomen, which she said that's weird. But they went ahead and called the doctor in. Still no contractions, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure these are contractions. I'm having contractions. And they were like every 10 to 15 minutes. And the doctor came in, pushed around my belly for a little bit, and I'm like, well, that doesn't hurt when you push it, but it hurts inside. And I told him that it was around my lower part of my abdomen, and he also said that was weird. He didn't, he attributed it to my infection, my UTI. And I'm like, I guess. And I told him I am peeing a lot. So he left, and my breakfast came around 7 o'clock. He also ordered more blood work and a sonogram, and I asked her, when is the sonogram gonna come? Because if anything looked bad in there, that they would go ahead and deliver, like, with VSC. But breakfast came, and she's like, go ahead and eat something. They checked my sugars. They were really good. The blood person taker outer came and did that, and I was like already holding on to the edges of the bed rail, saying, oh dear God, hurry up and do it. The nurse again called the doctor and said, I'm pretty sure these are contractions and she could be in labor. He was in the operating room doing a C-section, so they called the midwife, and she said, I'll be there in 15 minutes. And this was at 7, like before 7:30, because they bring my breakfast around 7:15, and I hadn't touched it. She was telling me to eat, but I was like, oh no, I can't. I just had a little bit of orange juice, and that was it. Then the on-call doctor came in. She introduced herself. She was really nice. They started getting the room ready. They checked me, and she said I was only 3 centimeters apart, and I was like, yeah, I'm not in that much pain. Holding on to the rails of the bed was working at that point. Then, like 5 minutes later, things got really worse. Every breath that I took was like another contraction, it felt like. I was kind of twisting and turning my hips to see if I was thinking in my head that should make me feel better, but it wasn't working this time. And another nurse said, let me go ahead and check her again. So they checked me again, and they said I was at 9, almost at 10 centimeters. And I was like, what? There was like 20 nurses. The NICU team was already in there prepping the little bed thingy. Somebody came in with papers to sign for a vaginal birth after cesarean. I was looking at her like, oh my God, are you serious? Is this really gonna happen? Which, a little backstory, I've always wanted to be back ever since my first baby. So yeah, I was excited, nervous, scared. I felt like this was all just going too fast. And it was like 7:35 at this point, only 5 minutes after everything had started to pick up. They didn't even have the delivering bed in the room, and on-call doctor asked me, do you feel any pressure? And I'm like, yes, I actually do. And she goes, if you feel like you have to push, go ahead and push. So I pushed. She was like down there, right? And she goes, oh my gosh, the baby is right there. And I'm like, are you serious? And I could not look down. And I think it could have also been for the pain too. I had like my back arched and looking up into the ceiling, not believing what I was hearing. My nurse and another nurse put in like some plastic sheets or whatever they use under me. They told me to lift myself up, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. So like 4 nurses lifted me up. They shoved sheets and plastic and things all up under me. It was just one more push and he was out. And I literally felt like he shot out of me. I was in so much pain, and then he came out. I heard him cry, which I thought he was gonna come out blue or something. You know, you always think the worst. But I heard him cry, and my nurse was right here by my side the whole time, and she was telling me what was going on, and I still had my head looking up at the ceiling. She said they're just gonna check him and clean him off, and I'm like, okay, like that's fine. They have to do whatever they have to do. The doctor was like, oh my gosh, Sanella, you did so good. That was awesome. And do you feel better? Are you in any pain? And I'm like, no, my pain is like a -50. No pain at all. I guess it's that like euphoric feeling that they always talk about that I had never experienced before. I mean, this was my first vaginal birth. She asked if I had to push again, and I'm like, yeah, I can kind of feel my placenta already, you know, releasing or whatever. And she's like, okay, good. So like 2 more pushes and my placenta was out. I saw his little feet and his little hands. I wasn't able to see him, but they wheeled him off. My nurse was still in there with me, and then I had to go pee, and she's like, are you okay to stand up? And I'm like, yeah, I feel fine. So I actually got up and I went to the bathroom. She put me one of those, you know, the things that they cover the bed inside of my underwear, my hospital underwear, with a pad, and I was like, oh, feels so weird. Then she brought me the other tag for baby, which, look, this is all worn. He's like, where's daddy? Because again, he's like 4 hours away at work, and I hadn't even told him what had happened yet, believe it or not. So she handed me he couldn't believe it, and he thought I was kidding, just like when my water broke. I was able to call him for a little bit, and I told him I had him and get your butt back home now. Texted my mom, and I had her come because they had to give somebody this thing. So they put that on my mom when she got there. We were able to go see him like an hour later, maybe. In the NICU, my 2 grandmas came, my aunt came. So I have this next to my bed, and I look at it every morning and every night. Here's his little feetsies, and I was born on December 22nd at 7:54 a.m. and he weighed 2 pounds 4 ounces and was 13 and a half inches long. And he is now, well, today is what's today? Wednesday. He was weighing in at 4 pounds 9 ounces. So that is my labor and delivery story. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and be sure to give a thumbs up to the video. Have you guys had a VBAC, or do you want a VBAC? Subscribe if you haven't already. So thanks for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye!